have emotions within you that are blocked and are creating energetical and physical pain that you can't explain yourself. But with DARE, we can actually work on this emotion. We work on a cellular level where the emotion is being lifted off and the blockages are no longer in your physical body, so the pain will go away. As a whole system is working with the mind, the body, the energetic systems of a client.
It's a package of support and assistance to help the body rid itself, free itself from its restrictions and its limitations, and that comes from many different ways. It comes from the mind, it comes from the body, it comes from the energetics. There's a whole package, so it's not just one thing that you can just go, well, if we look at that, that's going to sort that. It's a whole package of assistance to free the body, and the body holds so many memories which cause these blockages and limitations and restrictions, that once we deal with the memories that are held in the cells, then they can actually replicate in a much better way, which means that the person's walking sort of forward into the future without the pain and the restrictions that they previously had.
DARE therapy was the only thing that worked for my post-traumatic stress and a lot of other physical injuries and pains. And I've been through all the usual sort of cognitive behavioural therapy, the usual psychologist treatments, all of that, and none of that worked, or it seemed to work at the time, but the underlying issues were not dealt with. Whereas DARE got to the root of the problem and basically dissolved it and resolved it and cleared my problems. I know from personal experience what DARE can do. I would like to give that experiences to other people and to help them to heal others. So it came from an interest of being healed, essentially. I've done now 2 practitioner courses, this is now my 3rd, so starting to break into the intermediate and starting to feel a lot more confident with my abilities and the techniques, and just want to develop myself spiritually as well, so you get the added benefit of, you know, coming into a new modality as well as getting spiritual development.
Last year we had a student that had come for one of the healing workshops that I was running before I ran this, and she'd had a car accident and had terrible whiplash. Ended up, apparently it had been, the car accident had been 5 years previous, but her whole physical was way out of kilter. She'd been for physio, she'd been put on certain medication for depression, for psychological issues, and the poor woman was so overwhelmed and at breaking point. Her body was certainly at breaking point. And so I suggested that instead of her flying out the next day, she'd take a later flight, and came in on our first day of training. And the very first thing we did was she arrived and I did a demo on her. Well, it was just pretty amazing, absolutely amazing. Her body just reshaped itself while I was doing the session. Psychologically, it was massive for her. And she sat up off the table when we finished. One of her shoulders, one side of her body was shoved up here, the other side was down, so she was walking around very misshapen. One side, the torsion in her body was enormous. And so by doing the Atlas session, the whole body reshaped, put itself back into the original shape for her, because we all have our original shape, and it went back for her. And at the end of the session, she sat up straight, and her whole demeanour had changed. Pretty amazing to watch. And I know that a lot of the students said, I wouldn't have believed it if I hadn't seen it, that this is what you can do, and the body was then relaxed rather than being in this strained, taut position that is going to affect you psychologically, because it's going to affect the head and the neck, and that is going to put a lot of pressure on the head, and we will feel very overwhelmed. And she smiled and said, well, I just feel completely different. 5 years of suffering that could have been shortened to a very, very short space of time if she'd had some of this treatment. We don't manipulate bones, we don't manipulate the person at all. We work with the body, and the body works with us.